Ticket to see Mr. Murdoch. Let's stretch your legs.
Yes, sir.
Oh, hi guys. How are you doing? Hope you're all keeping well. Listen, this is a very simple South Indian recipe, and I'm your very friendly South Indian chef. About to cook you a thing called rasam, which is sort of a saucy, liquidy, kind of, you can even call it a herbal sort of soup, which people mix with rice and they have it, or you can even have it on its own in a cup. So depending on what spices you put in it, can be quite good for clearing up your throat or your sinuses. It's especially good when you've got a cold, I reckon. So as you can see, I've already done it. It's boiling away. It's ready to be poured into the rice and had.
Shut with my mug on me. Oh, DD. Oh, what it is? Oh, DD. What it is?
No, I'm kidding. Haven't even started yet.
Stop it. Get some help.
So let me see what I can do with this. It's just a saucepan with boiling water.
What?
What I'm going to do first is I've got some chopped up tomatoes in there. I know you guys probably don't like too much tomato, but I love my tomato, so I'm just going to drop it in. Right, and then we're going to add a few things. Just give me a sec.
You can do it!
So basically, I'm going to drop in some turmeric. It's a very, very simple recipe, actually. And some tur dal is cooking in this little pressure cooker of mine. So I should have shown you what I put inside, but it's basically a little vessel inside containing tur dal, water, obviously, and there's also water at the bottom of the cooker for steam. And then I put some turmeric in the dal. So that's cooking away, and it'll start hissing and puffing anytime soon. And so I'm going to add some haldi. And the next ingredient is a thing called asafoetida. So let me just open up that one. I mean, this gives you kind of a South Indian flavor. It's just like from a gum tree, I think. And then they extract the sap and they powder it. And you can even get it in a hard gum format. It's basically very aromatic. And I think it might have some mineral properties.
Oh my God! Wow!
Doesn't everything have something, right? So the next thing is I'm going to drop some rasam powder. I don't make the stuff. I buy the rasam powder from Indian shops, and I think I buy a brand called Haldiram. So the more you put of this stuff, it's going to get more spicy. So usually I drop in about, my teaspoon is pretty small, so maybe I'll drop in about 3, right? I think that should do me. It's not even a full 3 teaspoons, but yeah, that should be fine. And then here comes my enemy, the salt. So I don't put much salt. So basically I'll put about that much. That's it. But you guys will definitely need much more than that. And once this is done, I just mix it. Right. And you can drink it, mate. You can drink it right now. Actually, you can drink it right now.
Wait for it.
Here it comes. Almost there.
Whoops. That's this guy. That's this guy. He's very angry right now. Okay, and one of the main ingredients is tamarind. So it comes in two different formats, right? You can either get the, hang on, you're going to be staring at the rasam and get very hungry. You can either get this format, which is like a slab of tamarind, and then you need to take a little bit in a bowl. Here comes the next shot of the cooker. Okay. I think next will be a hoot, and I got to jump on the train to go to nowhere. So either you can get it in that tamarind format, or you can obviously get a paste sort of thing. So actually I ran out of paste, so this is, I've just opened the lid. So I need to open this, and I'm going to use the paste this time. So I'll be back with you guys, okay? So I just need to open it and be back, save you the next hiss.
Why are you running? Why are you running?
So I'm back, and I just added a little bit of water here, so it can cook a bit more. And I'm just also going to use a masher to just mash up the tomatoes a little bit, just to get all the tomato juice into the concoction. Okay, so, and my dal is cooked, right? And the good thing with these pressure cookers is once they hiss for about half a dozen times, you can remove it, and actually half of the cooking happens after you get it off the stove. So because it's built up so much of pressure inside, it's still cooking, right? So when you leave it, and you can't open it now because it's all pressured up, as you probably well know anyway. So that'll, after about 15 minutes, 20 minutes or whatever, you can open it and it'll be fully cooked. So, and it's really quick, rather than cooking it in a saucepan. So if you haven't got one of these babies, it's a little 3-liter one. Very, very useful, or you can get a larger one as well, yeah. So I was talking about tamarind, right? So that's what that is. That's what that looks like when you open it. And you have to mix it from the bottom, because when you open it every time, you got to make sure that, because all the heavy stuff might sink to the bottom, but it's like the consistency of honey, right? Probably slightly more runnier than honey. It was interesting because if you look at the name of the Tamil name of this rasam, another name is called South Amudu, and Amudu means nectar, and South is a quick, it's an abbreviation for sadam, which is rice. So I guess what they're saying is, have this with rice and it'll be like nectar. I'm not going to refute that because it tastes very good indeed.
Nice.
So I'm going to add some of the stuff. Maybe add about 3 teaspoons, and as I said, my teaspoon is not that big. 2, 3, and I think that should be enough. Let me put a little bit more. Okay, that'll be fine.
Yeah, boy.
So when you mix this now, it should, obviously the color is going to get darker now, obviously. And then this tamarind needs to cook because otherwise you'll get the raw smell of tamarind. So once it cooks, it blends in well with the rest. There's nothing much to blend. It's just tomatoes and a bit of powders, I guess. So rasam powder obviously has got a lot of spices in it. Some people make their own, but it'll, you got to, it's a lot of ingredients involved. And the one they sell in the shop is pretty good actually. So I'm going to let this boil for a little while, and it might get a bit thicker, so you need to maybe adjust the consistency by adding a little bit of water.
All ahead, Bull.
And basically what happens is when the dal is cooked, I'll show you later, but I'll just pretty much add the whole of the dal inside this, so it becomes a bit more wholesome. It's got a little bit of protein going in it. And then I need to do tempering, which is the typical South Indian thing, right? So at the end of most dishes, they'll temper with ghee or with oil. Typically mustard seeds, urad dal, couple of dry chilies, and once again asafoetida. And then finally, you can garnish it with fresh coriander. So I'll come back and hopefully show you the final product. Thank you.
Nice.
Okay, I just added some more water just to, because it was getting a bit thick with the tamarind and all that. Otherwise, it become too sour, right? So, and then you can build up volume because that's the good thing with rasam actually. And then you can have it taste midway, and if you feel it's not that spicy, you can add a bit more of the rasam powder. But what I'm going to do now is I'm going to try a little variation with a little bit of garam masala powder, right? It's not hot at all. This garam masala I have, it's like very mild. So I'm sure you've got garam masala. So I'm just going to add a touch of it. I think that'll be fine. It just gives a little variation of the flavor. If I tell this to any South Indian, they probably have a heart attack. So keep it a secret.
No! God, please, no! 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 No!
And give it a bit of a mix. And let that sit, because I always cook everything on low, right? Very low. So, and the saucepans are all pretty good because, I mean, even on the lowest setting, I find that after some time it'll start boiling. So that's not a real issue. And generally, it's not a good idea to cook it even on the medium flame, But then I know you've got an electric one, so I don't know how that works, but should be the same concept. In fact, you might get more heat out of your electric one actually, rather than my gas one. Okay, so at this stage, I usually put up my feet, have a ginger beer, and watch some TV.
Oh my God! Wow!
And my rice is already cooked, or I mean, is it? No, it's still cooking in my rice cooker. Mind you, I don't cook. Don't think I eat rice every day. Actually, I'm cooking rice after a few days now. So I won't show you my little pongal pot. My pongal pot. I think Deep, you know about my pongal pot, right? So that will not be displayed because my phone might blow up. So I'll come back to you when I open sesame to the tur dal, and then we'll do some magic. Be right back. This is called side business. I'm doing a bit of side business now. I just cut up some 3 Karelas into halves like this, right? This is fresh Karela. Got it from the Indian shop. So what I do is I just take out all the seeds and everything, the seeds and the central portion. So I'm just left with just the Karela. So I'm going to do that with my hands, which is.
Did you wash your hands?
With soap?
Did
You dry them?
All nicely cleaned with, high grade bleach. So I'll be back. Right. So I've just opened the cooker and let me see. So that's the dal inside, right? So take that out. Fumbling a bit with looking. Couldn't decide whether to look on the screen or look to reality.
Stop it. Get some help.
Anyway. And I'm gonna mash it up. So that's just got tur dal and turmeric. That's all. Mashy, mashy, mashy. And I'm just going to pretty much drop the whole thing into the rasam actually. So, this is my rasam boiling away still. Right. Now this is built up nicely, I think. And at this stage you can taste it and see if you like it or what needs adding or dividing or multiplying. Unfortunately, you can't subtract anything unless you want to take off whole tomatoes or something. I'm being silly. Okay, just a sec.
Get some help.
Having said that, I think if you're David Copperfield, you'll be pulling out whole tomatoes from the saucepan, I'm pretty sure. Okay, this is the side business, and I've just pulled out all the seeds. So that's what that looks. So what I do is I just go three ways. I score it twice. So this each becomes like 3 long strips, and then I'll cut it this way all the way. So you get like small pieces of Karela. Be right back. Karela pellets ready to go.
Nice.
Got some fresh coriander, obviously. It's a whole bunch, so I'm going to just use a little bit of it for the rasam. And what I do with the rest of the coriander is I chop it up, put in a little bag, and I put it in the freezer. Once you put it in the freezer, it's not the same as using fresh, for sure. But, I usually buy about 2-3 bunches and cut them up and stick it in the freezer. Be right back. Okay, I've got my little tempering pan, and this is not boiling anymore. I just adjusted it a little bit, basically a little bit more water, and it's not on heat at the moment. It's done. That's it. So I've just put it to one side. It's not being cooked anymore. So in this little tempering pan, which is pretty warm now, I'm gonna put some oil. Because the quantity is a lot, so I go slightly generous with the olive oil, and I'm gonna drop in asafoetida powder. This really bumps up the aroma of the rasam, and generally it's pretty good for you. And I'm gonna have to break up some chilies and put it in there, just a couple. Just give me a sec. So I put some red dry chili. If you like, you can use Kashmiri chili as well. It just flavors the oil Obviously, when you're eating, obviously you're not going to eat that. Sometimes if you get it in your mouth by accident, ouch, that's bad news. So the oil is heating up. I'm going to drop some mustard seeds in there. And these will start popping. Actually, I should be adding some more. Should add a little bit of cumin seeds. So mustard and cumin is gives you the kind of the top note in the rasam. He says as if he's an expert. So this, and what am I forgetting? This is basically it. I mean, sometimes what I do is instead of chilies, I crush up some pepper, and you can add it, but I'm not going to do it now. It's bursting, so normally I just put a guard on it. Otherwise, the whole stove gets all messed up. This is the thing about South Indian cooking. There's a lot of this mustard seed and cumin seeds all bursting all over the place. It's like Diwali every day, man. And many people don't even use the splatter screen. It's like all over the place, you know. So you can hear it popping. So at this stage, I would put off the stove. So I've already put off the stove. And okay. I just mix it all up, and here comes the big whoosh. I want to just drop it on the rasam. Well, you got all that stuff stuck in there, right? That's pretty easy to remove. So I can even do it one-handed, you know. So what I do is I take a little bit of the rasam and pour it on there. And look at that, it's all gone. Yes, pretty much gone. So that's that, and now actually I've got some coriander here, so I'm going to take a little bit of that. Just I think I should have probably chopped it a bit more, but it's okay. It's only for a bit of flavor anyway. It gives you a nice smell, you know. I mean, I can heat it up a little bit so the coriander gets a little absorbed as well. Maybe I'll do that, yeah. It's my famous child-proof gas thing, which doesn't stay on, you know, unless you keep holding it for some time. It's child-proof. Okay. Just moving it and let it, but it's done. It's basically done. You just need to, you know, I would personally cut the coriander up into smaller pieces. And by the way, the stem of the coriander, like that bit, that's the one that got heaps of flavor, you know, even more than the leaves actually. So does that look like a rasam or what? You can just drop it in a cup and have it, you know, with a soup spoon or something. Just have a couple of puppets or something with it. That's a nice starter as well. You don't have to have it as a main course and all that, you know. Quite often in South Indian restaurants, they give you a cup of rasam before the meal.
Nice.
So the rasam is parked away, and I forgot to tell you, I did add a little bit more tamarind, and actually even the salt was very less for the volume, even for myself, so I just added a teeny bit of salt. So these things are, you know, you got to check midway to see whether you like the taste or not. If it doesn't have enough sourness or the bite that you require, then you can add it accordingly, but that's, you know, very, very flexible. So that's what I did with that, and that's done. So I am about to cook the Karela. The typical South Indian style of cooking, most vegetables, right, including like potatoes, aubergine or any vegetable, beans, and it's the only difference is in some things you put like spice powder, like sambar powder. I don't use chili powder as such because I use just sambar powder because it's got more spices. It's got a blend of more spices and gives a more balanced sort of heat, rather than some people will just put like just chili powder. So I mean, obviously, this one, most vegetables, South Indian style, they start the tempering in the beginning. I usually put some olive oil, and then it's the same old story. I mean, with South Indian cooking, it's very minor variations, right? But most of it is the mustard seed and the cumin seeds and and then after that, for some things they put a bit of urid dal for a bit of crunchiness. And I'm just trying to open and then the asafoetida is like a given in most things, unless it's a North Indian type of dish. Then of course you don't use it. So I'm going to drop some of this panacea stuff, and then the same old mustard seeds. But these things are added to aid in digestion, actually. So that's why, from ancient times, the mustard seeds and the cumin seeds and all, they all sort of enhance the flavor as well, but it's mainly for easy digestion, because with South Indian food, if it's cooked properly, it should digest very quickly. And this is cumin seeds. So once these burst, I will add some urid. Oh, I can add some, actually, what I do? My variation is I add a bit of chana dal first, and then I add some urid dal as well. Just gives it a bit more body, And when you eat, it gives you a bit more crunch. In some dishes, you can add peanuts, but chana dal is one of my favorites. So I'll usually add that, and then you add the vegetable, and then the powder is also slight variation. I use dhania powder, which is coriander seed powder, and haldi is also in most dishes, and then put some sambar powder in there. And then with this Karela, to kind of balance out the bitterness, I put some jaggery or palm sugar. Not highly processed sugar, but yeah, from a glucose point of view, I guess jaggery is just mildly better than the white sugar. You probably get a slightly more, because it's unprocessed, you'll get a bit more minerals. So that's bursting away. So I'm going to add some chana dal. And when the chana dal cooks a little bit, and add the urid dal. Look, some people are very fussy about washing the chana dal and the urid dal first. You can't do that with tempering, of course, because once it gets damp, you can't drop it in oil like that. If you're cooking chana dal as a proper dal, obviously you got to wash it, but not for this stuff, So once it's all slightly golden brown, you can drop the vegetable in now. Still kind of bursting, it doesn't matter. You just mix it all up. This is quite easy, Deep. Actually, you can cook any vegetable in this style very quickly. I mean, with vegetables like potato, if you really wanted to dry roast it perfectly, you can just leave it open. Or with me, I like to get it done a bit quicker, so I would add in a bit of water, because what the water does is it kind of makes a tiny paste out of the whole thing, and it spreads everything evenly. So at this stage, I will add some powders. So I've got dhania powder, some turmeric, and I will add some sambar powder. Hang on, I'm just holding the mobile with one hand, right? It's only coming out like, I'm not putting a lot, it's a very small teaspoon. I think that'll be enough. Yeah? Okay. I want to mix it now. One thing I learned over the years is, even if you're not cooking a lot, it's best to use like a large wok, because when you start doing this stuff, in a medium-sized wok, things start jumping out, and so I've generally used like a 30-centimeter wok, but minimum 28, but 30 or even 32 if you're cooking a larger quantity, it'll be good. Yeah. So once I've done this, I have to get some H2O. I'll be back. Okay, now I'm going to put a little bit of water. This actually blends everything very nicely, actually, because you got a bit of viscosity rather than everything sitting very dry and angry at each other. So this kind of makes everyone good friends.
Stop it. Get some help.
Well, I'm going to put a cover on it because it has to cook, right? So it'll cook nicely, probably even 10 minutes max, and it'll be pretty much done. Oh, I'll drop in some jaggery maybe after 3-4 minutes, and then I'll let it sit for another 5 minutes or so, and it'll pretty much be done. Jaggery also gives it a bit of a glaze. You'll see it in a while. So I'm back, and these guys are sweating it out inside. Let's just give it a bit of a stir, and hang on. So this is what the jaggery, I usually put it in a tub, keep it. It's the Indian style, I mean, if they're sold in different formats, like, it could be a ball, or could be a slab, or could be even powder form. Put a bit in there. Not much is coming out because it's sticky, so I'm just and that'll do it. See, the water's pretty much evaporated. And the thing is turning succulent. But you got to make sure it's cooked. This thing usually doesn't stick to the bottom, so it cooks pretty well actually. So I'm going to cover it up for a little bit more. Okay, I think it's time to discover.
Iceberg, right ahead!
It's fogging up the lens. Okay. I think it's mildly charred, which is not bad. See that? I think it's okay. I think I'm probably making too big a deal out of this, but I think it's slightly shrunk from what I can tell, and it's got that. It looks good, right? With the dals and. Let me test if it's cooked. I'll just take a little bit. It's pretty much done. Oh, I don't think I put any salt in it actually. Yeah. It's okay, I might add a little bit of salt because it looks like there's absolutely no salt in there. But it's pretty much cooked. You can probably, I can give it just a few more minutes and that's it. But that's it guys, so that's all done. And you can get your little noodle bowl, right? Drop some rice in there. Drop some ghee if you've got it. Not necessary. And then you can pour some rasam in it. And then you can have a side dish like something like this. And make the rice not too stiff with the rasam. You need to have adequate rasam to kind of make it like a semi-liquid. And I reckon it's a good healthy meal. And you can have some salad on the side, or and maybe top it up with some yogurt and stuff like that.
What?
Oh yeah, with the rasam, papad goes well. So you can maybe fry some, or just even put it in the microwave, just a couple of papads. So try it out. I think you'd like it. Okay, let me go feed the pongal pot.
Пипни ме тук и там, пипни навсякъде ме пипа и не питай какво правя, кое е то лего. Ще биди доп, 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 yes, 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 штип, ще биди дип, ще биди дабо, 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 yes, yes.
See you soon.
Nice.